What up, you guys? Whitney D here with Reality Rewind, and I'm here to bring you another podcast along with my wonderful hosts, Tam Bam, Jolie Joe, and Sir Q. Now, we left off with the review of Put a Ring on It, Season 4, Episodes 1 through 5. Now, we're here to bring you Season 4, Episodes 6 through 8. Okay, now I'm gonna give you a synopsis of each episode while the rest of my wonderful cast give you a synopsis on each participating cast member couple. Okay, so let's go ahead and start where we left off at with season 4 episode 6, which is Double the Trouble. Okay, now Dr. Stacii sends the couples on double dates to test their self-control and trust. Now Catherine, she gets intimate with her date Marcus while Ricky looks on, child. Jasha exchanges words with Joya's date, and Zay hurts Jasmine when he puts his foot in his mouth. Now let's move on to season 4 episode 7, Family Ties. Okay, Catherine confronts her father about her childhood issues. Jasmine's family doesn't hold back and has more criticism for her than Zay. Now, Joya rethinks the future as she and her sister discuss the importance of having a baby. Now, lastly, Season 4, Episode 8, The Gift. Everyone's emotions are tested as they all go on dates. Catherine and Ricky are on two very different pages. Jasmine continues to complain about Zay's communication while Jasha is forced to confront his emotions when Joya receives an unexpected gift. Now, I leave it to the rest of my wonderful cast to give you a breakdown on each couple.
Hey, what's up? Thank you all so much for tuning in to Reality Rewind. Honey, this has been juicy. So episode 6, Stacii had all of them double date in a sense. So they went on their own dates, but they were at the same place that their significant other was. Jasha and Joya. So Jasha's date, off jump, she was just doing too much. Really trying to make it about a competition instead of really getting to know Jasha or having Jasha get to know her as a person. And it was just too much over the top when Joya and her date came in. You know, Jasha's date was, twerking. They were at the gym. So she was doing a lot of extra things, and it not only made Joya uncomfortable, but it made Jasha uncomfortable because from what we know, he does not like women like that. So it put a pin right there in their dating because she no longer was about him. She made it about her and basically trying to get a reaction out of Joya. So Joya and her date, their first date was great, but then going into this second date, he kind of ruffled my feathers too because he was, he doesn't have kids. He's into, a lot of corporate world business, dress nice, smell nice, all those different things. But he made a point to say, like, he's more valued and he doesn't date women with children. Basically, he degraded her. He told her basically she didn't have any value. And it was kind of like, dude, even if that is how you feel, you're on a date with a single mother. You're on a date with a woman who has children. For you to say that, like, she was already checked out during the date. She basically made that known with her actions. She completely shut down. She was ready to go, and I don't blame her. Like, you could have saved that, and then after he said it, he was trying to go back and fix it, which it was too late. So neither one of them continued the date with their persons, which I'm glad that they did not. However, Joya did check Jasha on the ride home from Miss Stacii because she felt like some of those things it could have been handled differently, and he didn't. And so she was really, caught off guard, and she was just like, whatever. So we move on to episode 7. And they go on, Jasha did not go on a date. Joya went on a new date, and she also got a chance to meet with her sister. So the new date, Mr. Luther, he was very down to earth, very nice dress. He was a gentleman, and they went to a nice restaurant without even communicating. They ordered the same thing, ordered the same drink. And then they got into the different things that they liked. They had a, intimate conversation of just getting to know each other on an intimate level, which I didn't see anything wrong with it, because I think we leave that out when we're dating people. But if you are a sexual person, you wanna ask those questions to make sure that y'all are even on the same page. One person may like this and you may like this. However, they have those conversations, and so he talks about what does he do in his time. Does he meditate or whatever? And he told her that he paints, and that he has a fascination with flamingos, and that's his favorite bird. Well, that's also Joya's favorite bird. So, the conversation was there. All of those things were there. The sister tells her, you need to dig a little deeper. This timeline that that Jasha has doesn't really work for you. And you really need to, be selfish about what it is that you want. So Joya grants Luther a second date. And Jasha goes on a date with someone new as well. So going into the next episode, Joya and Luther meet up again. Starting the date off, as soon as they get there, he gives her a rose, and he tells her that he has a gift for her. And he reiterates, hey, your favorite color is turquoise, letting her know that he paid attention to her on the first day. You're from New York and you like flamingos. And so he hand painted on a nice size canvas a turquoise background flamingo made out of the New York sign. So I thought that was very good. It really touched her because it was time and effort put into the gift, and it was hand wrapped. You can tell he didn't go off and let somebody else do it and then picked it up. He did everything himself, and it showed that he really paid attention to her. And she lit up, she smiled. It was great. Their date was great. Just a lot of great conversation. Jasha and his date, they went out, and basically it was almost like a mirror of Joya. So he found himself with a lot of anxiety because she reminded him so much of Joya that he started thinking about, well, what is she doing on her date? And what is this? And so he was uncomfortable. He didn't really get to really feel her out. But his thing about it was he didn't want to date another Joya. He wanted something different. He don't need another real estate agent. He got one. That's their story. So it was good, and then emotions came out. Jasha was a little teared up by the fact that she made it a point to say it's not just the big trips and things that she likes. It's the little things, it's the little gifts, the little stuff you put into. And Jasha was hurt by those because he felt like he's doing all he can, but I think he missed a point of small things, putting small things together. So I'm excited to see how this next episode goes because it's getting more juicy.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Tam, and I love the tea that my reality rewinder just spilled, honey. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So let's get into my favorite couple, Catherine and Ricky. So like my castmate said before, we are reviewing 6, 7, and 8 episodes. But I just want to highlight and give you guys an overall synopsis of how I feel Catherine and Ricky are doing. So in the episode 6, it was really rough because so in 7, 6, 7, and 8, they had some challenges in their relationship. We're finding out that Ricky is very passive aggressive. He doesn't know how to explain his feelings. And that's a problem for Catherine. She wants to know how he feels. They all went on a couple with their dates in the same location, and Ricky got to see how touchy-feely Catherine's date was. Instead of him getting upset or just saying, because he was telling his date the whole time, he was paying attention to Catherine and looking at Catherine, and you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, pay attention to me, And so he was having those feels at the date, but when Dr. Stacii sat him down and was like, how did that make you feel? He was like, it's cool. It's like, no, you're not cool with it. Your woman wants to know that she's striking up that emotion out of you.
And Catherine did not feel that. So I'm praying that they can work this out, but he is very passive aggressive with his emotions and his actions, and that's a big red flag. His date, she was kind of like, try out what you're gonna try with your girl with me, like practice with me. Like, she really likes him. And I hate to be the one to say this, but they are more so for each other than him and Catherine. Catherine is a driven woman. She's getting her real estate game up, and things of that nature. And with them living under one roof and things like that, it's very hard for them to really have that time to really get to know each other as more than friends and grow something when you have the family in the house and things of that nature. So, like I said, they are really taking this process seriously. They're doing what they need to do. What I'm saying is the process is exposing a lot of things. I think it was episode 8, Catherine talks about her relationship with her mother. See, one thing we don't realize is relationships with our parents, relationships, those are the first kind of relationships that we get besides friendships, right? So those are very important. And her relationship with her mother is rocky. It's not good. So she kind of translates that when it comes to her relationships. So her just talking about that and just really talking about how she felt in that moment, just things that she's been through in the past, and just really unraveling all those things is such a blessing. And I can see her growth in that episode and just what she wants. She deserves the world. And Ricky just needs to find out or figure out how to harness those emotions so he can show her what she deserves to be shown. So yeah, so that is Ricky and Catherine. I love them. Like I said, she's from Cedar Hill, so I'm gonna ride with her forever. She's Texas made. So what say you?
So Zay goes on a date with Naya, and Jasmine goes on a date with Sean, and they're both like able to see each other, which is quite interesting. But just to actually go back a bit further, now one of the main issues I see that they're actually gathering is the fact that Jasmine does feel defeated because she feels as if Zay doesn't listen to her, or more so that he chooses not to listen to her, which can be a bit alarming. It can be a bit irritating when you're in a relationship when you don't really have the communication down. That can make things very complicated. So while they're on this double date, prior to them going, Naya arrives at Zay and Jasmine's house first. And, needless to say, she's a very beautiful woman. And Zay actually, gives her like good compliments and basically compares her to Jasmine, using the word ante up. And of course, Jasmine was very offended by that. She felt like that was very uncalled for, and he shouldn't have actually stated that. So it really hurt her feelings. So they proceed further. They go on their date. And next, Jasmine meets up with Sean at the venue, and it is sweet because he does arrive with flowers, and they proceed with their date. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Zay and Naya arrive first on their date, and it kind of seems somewhat interesting between them, but it's not until Jasmine arrives with Sean that's where Zay can't keep his eyes off of Jasmine and her date. So that right there lets you know that Zay is totally invested in his relationship with Jasmine. And I really liked what I saw there, because I saw that even though he was on a date, he couldn't keep his eyes off of his woman. So that lets you know that he's in it to win it, and I was very appreciative of that. But, as he continued on with his date, he did express how, he does have communication issues, and he knows that's something that he needs to work on. And pretty much him, going on this journey and, these dates, it's helping him with his communication. So it's great to see that there. But needless to say, Jasmine is doing exactly what she needs to do she is gathering the communication from Sean. And, Sean, he seemed like he was a cool person. They did, have similarities. Sean did lose his mother, and, Jasmine had stated how she had recently lost her father. So that was like something that they shared, and it sparked, more of a communication piece between them. So it was really good to see that she was able to be with someone that was able to communicate. It didn't seem one-sided with her. Now we go into episode 7. Jasmine, she meets up with her mom and her brother, Devontae. And basically, she's just informing them on, the journey they're taking with this process and the things that have been taking place. And her mom does say a lot of interesting things. She does inform Jasmine that she feels that, it's good, what they're doing. This is a good journey for them. It's a good process they're on. But she does feel as if Jasmine is a bit controlling. That took Jasmine, she was taken aback because she was like, wait, huh? But, it did make her think maybe she is a little controlling. And maybe, that could be the reason why it's such a hard communication piece between her and Zay. So it did make her think. Her mom did also express that, you need to give Zay time, because Jasmine did state that, she kind of feels insulted that, Zay only gave her a promise ring. And, she kind of feels like she's being led on, but her mom did make a valid point by stating that, maybe that was a big step for him by him giving you that promise ring. That is a step further, letting, both of you guys know that sooner than later, there will be an engagement and possibly a marriage. But things just take time, and it's not good to rush anyone. You want to let things flow naturally. So it was the conversation between her mom and her brother. It was much needed, because you can tell it did make Jasmine really think about things a little bit deeper. So Zay goes on a date with Kenyatta, and we learn that Kenyatta is a flight attendant. And that Zay was just so elated by that. Like, that really made him so happy. And I guess mainly because he stated that he has always wanted to be a pilot. So that was something that attracted them. And pretty much that's what sparked the communication piece between them. So he really felt like, the dates that he went on prior, there were no connection until he met Kenyatta, because they actually had something in common. And so he too explained to Kenyatta that, he feels like, it's a communication piece between him and Jasmine, and that's something that he struggles with, and that's something that he's really trying to work on. But he was glad to have been able to have good communication between him and Kenyatta on their date. Now, going into episode 8, Jasmine goes on a date with a guy by the name of Josie. Now, one thing I can say, Josie is from the Bronx. And as we know, Jasmine is from New York as well. So that was something they had in common. But one thing I did notice from this particular date is that Jasmine really was very engaging, and I saw chemistry between her and Josie. Now, I feel as if this is something that she is trying to pull out of Zay. That same personality that Josie actually upholds is what she wants from Zay. And if she can just put that personality trait into Zay, she would have the perfect man that, she wants. So, it was good to see that there was a good dynamic between Jasmine and Josie, and that he was able to listen to her. He was able to even give good feedback towards, her situation between her and Zay. And I felt like that was a really good date that they had. And Zay goes on another date with Kenyatta. Needless to say, and you know what? Let me take it a step. Let me go back, because one thing I did appreciate was when Josie met Jasmine at the house. she refused to hug him, and that was out of respect for Zay. I really did appreciate that, because that just shows how she is, even though she is in it to proceed with this process, she's not trying to disrespect her man under any shape, form, or fashion. So I really do appreciate that within Jasmine. And later on, I saw that Zay pretty much did the same thing. You could tell Kenyatta wanted him to get closer so they can kind of, hug. And Zay was like, no, he wants to respect his girlfriend. And I value that. So, that right there to me just shows that Zay and Jasmine are really taking this process seriously. And I do see growth within them. And I do see a possible, future engagement and marriage between them, because they are in it to win it.
All right, you guys, that's it for us. Now, let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. While you're there, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And we'll see or hear from you on the next episode of Reality Rewind.